I grew up in Morcone, which is in Campania. Campania is the region where Naples is. I only have one brother, but we lived together with my grandparents, and we had my great-grandmother also. So there were 7 of us in one home, big home, but I had plenty of cousins, uncles, aunts, and when you're in a small town, everybody is a member of your family. So we treated each other like members of family. I used to go food shopping with my grandmother. Living together, my grandmother and my mom had an agreement. My mom used to love to clean, so she used to take care of the cleaning. My grandmother was the food chopper and the chef of the family. So I love to go with Grandma. First of all, she always got me some treats. So I used to go with her. Since I followed my grandmother around all the time, I followed her in the kitchen too. I like to learn and pick up little things from her. My first memory of cooking was when I received for La Befana, because in Italy we didn't do Santa Claus in my time anyway. It used to be La Befana, the Epiphany. And I received as a gift from La Befana this little stove, little play stove. I loved it. I used to go outside and pick herbs and flowers and to make soup. That was my soup, in my little stove. So that's my first memory of loving to cook. I came to America with my parents and my brother at 13 years old. I am the youngest. My brother is 4 years older than me. And I had only finished La Scuola Media, it's called in Italian, 8th grade. So when I got here, it was, very difficult, not knowing the language, not knowing people. But little by little, picked up the language and went to school. But then at 17, I got married. I love to cook and bake. Just food. It relaxes me, excites me. So I don't know that I have a favorite thing to cook, because I just love cooking so much. Especially if I learn a new recipe, I want to try it. Like, I can't even sleep at night. If I'm reading a new recipe on the web, or I can't even sleep at night. I can't wait to just try it and see, or add my own touches. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid if a recipe says put this, this, and that. If you think that this spice will be better than the spice called for the recipe, don't be afraid to try it. If it doesn't work well, so okay. But if it does work, then you have invented something new. So I would say to any new chef, anybody starting to cook, don't be afraid. Just go with it.
Ciao everyone, I'm Rossella and welcome to my kitchen. It is Christmas time here at Cooking with Nonna, and I have a very special guest all the way from Napoli, Nonna Antoinette. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So
it's a pleasure.
What Christmas spectacular traditional recipe do you have for me today?
Strufoli. That's a very old recipe. I think everybody in Italy knows what Struffoli is.
I think so. And in America.
Yes, the Italian Americans, and even just the regular Americans now know how wonderful and how tasty Struffoli are.
So since Strufoli is such a classic Christmas traditional Italian dish, we're going to do a special twist on it at the end. But we're not going to tell you yet. That's going to be a surprise. So we're going to get started with our Strufoli. And a lot of people don't know that they're so easy to make.
They are. They're extremely easy to make. It doesn't, the biggest time is just frying, the patient to fry them.
Right.
But to make them, it's very easy. So
let's
go ahead and do it.
Yeah, let's take a look at what we need. We're going to have some flour, some sugar, some lemon and orange zest for a little flavor, a little bit of salt, some eggs, butter, white wine, that's interesting, and some baking powder and vanilla. We can go ahead and start mixing our ingredients together, right?
Yes, let's do it.
Awesome.
Okay, we start with the flours. Let's see if we could get it all in here without making a mess.
And don't worry about measurements right now. If you want the measurements, just go to cookingwithnonna.com.
And the sugar.
Sugar.
Zest. The zest will give it that nice flavor. Okay, here. Salt.
A little bit of salt.
Eggs.
Get our butter.
Let's see, I think we need a spatula for this one. sticky butter. And
And
wine. Or Strega or anisette. The anisette works good.
anisette.
Yeah.
I like
I forgot
anisette.
Yeah, anisette works well too. Okay, and a little dash of vanilla.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me.
Yeah, just, that's good.
Okay. I always overdo vanilla because I love vanilla so much.
But since we have other flavors in there,
Yeah.
we don't want to have just the vanilla overpower.
Of course. No, it's just the way I like it. So how long do we let this mix for?
Until we get a smooth dough.
Okay.
There is one thing, because every flour is different.
Of
Every
course.
egg is a different size. So if you see that the dough is not forming a ball,
It's a little dry.
a little dry, then what you do is just add a little milk. I add milk.
Yeah.
But you could use water. That's fine.
Just to bind it
Just
together a little
just,
more.
Yes. And you just put a little bit and you go, you see, as soon as it starts forming a ball, you know that you have enough liquid.
So our dough is done.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Now we need a little bit of
Extra flour.
for dusting
Right.
our board.
And you don't even have to do this in a KitchenAid if you don't have one or you don't want to.
No.
Definitely not. You can always
No,
mix
you
this
could
by
do
hand.
Yes, you just use your hands like the nonnas used to do
Yeah.
in the old time. And normally I would take my ring off, my jewelry off, but I don't think this ring is coming off today, so sorry, Rossella.
You're very married, Nonna Antoinette.
So we just make sure that we get it all going here.
So you just want to make sure it's floured enough, because if you
Yes.
flour it too much, then it's not going to fry well. The extra flour is going to come out in
Yes.
the oil, and it's going to be all brown and gunky, and you don't want
Yes.
that.
Okay.
So this
It
dough
looks-
looks good.
Yes, it's nice and shiny, and it's uniform. So you put it over here. I usually cover it with plastic wrap, and we let it sit for a while. The baking powder doesn't need as much time as yeast would,
Right.
you know, leaven. So by the time we get the oil going, and by the time we start rolling, by the time we end the rolling and cutting of these, the first ones would have rested
Will have
long
rested,
enough
right.
that we are ready to fry.
Okay.
So are we ready to roll?
I think so.
So I just uncover the spot that I'm going to cut.
We're going to get some knives. We're using our beautiful Nonna knives
Oh,
today.
yes.
I know you
love
have
them.
these at home,
Yes,
right?
I love them. So we just cut slices, and would you like to take one?
Yes.
And just squeeze it.
We're going to make like a little rope, kind of like the way
Yes.
you make orecchietta, right?
Yes.
But
yes. We
we're
make little
not-
ropes.
But we're not making orecchietta today. Strufoli
No.
are golden honey balls. They're
Yes.
golden.
Sweet treat. A sweet treat.
Yes.
A good idea with Struffoli, if you're invited over a friend's house, family, and you want to bring a dessert of Struffoli, you make all your little balls, like we're doing now, and then you can mold them into a bundt pan and make like a wreath.
Like a
you know,
wreath, yeah.
shaped like a Christmas wreath.
And then we're going to take our
And we're
knives.
yes, and we're just going to cut little nuggets.
Okay, so after you've cut some out, they'll be in this kind of shape. And if you want to, you can roll them into little balls. You don't have to at all, though. You can totally just fry them like this.
Yes,
But some people like to roll them to get them a little more round. So we've already rolled some out, and we put them on a dish with some extra flour so they don't get all sticky or anything. And these are actually ready to be fried.
That's right. What I usually do is I take a little piece of the dough and just plop it in there. And if you see that it
That's
came right
ready.
up, it's
That's
ready.
very ready. So to get them all in there, I like to just put a few on something slotted. This is a spider, and just drop them in there.
Yeah, I usually do it the old-fashioned way.
Antoinette's hardcore over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not afraid of getting a little bit.
She's not scared.
Nah, no, I just throw them in. Just be careful though when you do this. Not everybody could do it.
Be very careful.
Yes, when you put them in, you don't want to just throw them in because the oil will bounce back.
These are done. You want to fry them until they're golden brown. So we're just going to get the last of our Strufoli out of here. And these look amazing.
Yes.
And the way they're supposed to be crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. So now we have our Strufoli already fried and golden brown. I'm going to taste one just because I want to.
Sure.
They're perfect. They are perfect. They're crispy on the outside. They're soft on the inside. This is going to be so good. And you can really taste the zest, like the lemon and orange zest.
Yes, I think that's the key. You want to have that zest burst, and the frying brings that out.
Yeah, this is great. So we're ready to put the honey on them. Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to get our honey that we've heated up. So we heated this honey up just a little bit on a low flame with a couple tablespoons of water.
Yes, and half a cup of sugar, just to soften up it a little bit, because sometimes honey alone, it's too thick.
Right, and then it's going to harden, and you can make your wreath, you can make the little mounds, or you can do our special surprise with it.
I use my usual utensils.
The Nonna way is always best. We have a special surprise. We are going to make some Struffoli Cones this year for Christmas. This is such a great idea if you have a lot of kids, if you want to do a little dessert bar. It's also a great way to eat the Struffoli without getting all sticky.
Yes.
So this...
And portion control.
Yeah, of course, because, we always care about that. Italian people love to think about portion control on Christmas.
We're going to just fold them in a little bit so that to make sure that they're all coated. And then we drain them out. Because the honey that we have here is for the entire recipe. So we're just going to, all right.
Okay, so
let's put some sprinkles.
we have our little nonpareil sprinkles, the little round ones, but you can use whatever sprinkles you feel comfortable. We just have our nice Christmassy ones today. We're going to take our little ice cream cones. Really, really easy. I mean, this was such a quick recipe.
Yes.
And it's so fun to roll them all out together. Like if you get a few people, I know all my grandma's sisters would do that together, and then one person would be rolling, one person would be frying.
That's true.
It's such a great way to be together as a family. That's why I love making cookies at Christmas time. So we have our two little cones for me and Nonna, and I'm going to make a third cone for our special guest. We have Sabrina here today, and this is Nonna's baby. This is Nonna's daughter, Sabrina.
Yes.
How old are you, Sabrina?
I'm 12 years old.
You're 12 years old, but you're not too old to eat a Struffoli cone.
No.
No.
I see you've made a little something for me today.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your job. This is why you're here. And you are going to be our official taster.
My job in my mom's house is to eat and to tell her what her stuff tastes like, because she's always trying out new recipes and stuff.
I mean, come on. Who's luckier than you?
I know. Nobody is. That's who. Oh my gosh, they're so good.
I'm going to taste them too. Oh my God, these are perfect. These are absolutely perfect.
Very good.
They're so
And you could eat them like popcorn.
They're so perfect with the honey. I love honey.
These are crispy on the outside, they're soft on the inside, they're sweet from the honey. And this is the perfect thing to make for any holiday party. If you have a dessert bar, if you're just playing around with kids, this is one of my favorite Christmas recipes. Thank you, Nonna Antoinette, for helping me making them. Thank you for being my Nonna today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Rossella.
And thank you, Sabrina, for coming.
Thank you for letting me be here. I approve this recipe.
Thank you.
On the behalf of all kids, I approve this recipe.
Thank you. Ciao. Merry Christmas. Buon Natale.